A warm welcome to each one of you. This is the Naomi Talk Show with yours truly, Liz Kenywa, and kama kawaida, I like to appreciate each one of you that has become part of the big family that we are becoming. We truly hope that you're learning a lot from the stories we get to air in this space. If you're new or you're coming across our content for the first time, allow me to say karibu sana, or should I say karibu nyumbani, because this is a place where you'll get stories that are educative, that will equip you and will inspire you to do life the way God intended. Because He has a manual of how we ought to do life, each one of us in the different phases of how or where we are. So today we are looking at a couple. I have known them for quite some time. I know I can confirm they are lovers of God. They are given and totally sold out to serving the Lord. And they have a story to share with us. And I'm sure you learn from their experience, because when we bring people that have been in marriage for quite some time, ours is to encourage you that one, marriage is not a scam. Number two, that marriages do work, but there is work that you have to dig in, because they will not just work when you sit back. Number three, that inside there will be some twists and turns in life as you do life together. But at the end of the day, when the two of you are determined to walk through this journey, then we can say your marriage will be successful. So to everyone who is desiring to get into marriage and they are feeling scared, or they are buying into the theory that marriage is a scam, we are here to confirm to you through the stories we air that marriage is not a scam. So without taking much time, let me allow my guests to introduce themselves, alafu tuwaulize maswali. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
Munakaa poa?
Thank you.
Mumeona muda gani kwanza hata kabla tuwajue?
Tumeoana for 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
We, umesikia? 10. Marriage works.
Yeah,
10.
Sure.
Wewe unang'ang'ana
By the
mwaka
grace of
mmoja
God.
hapo, sikia marriage work 10 years, but utasikia what the 10 years have been like.
Yes.
Can't introduce yourselves?
Yeah. My name is Catherine Wanjiro Ireri. Ireri is my husband. I am born again. I am a mother of 3 children, sorry. And I serve God in Deliverance Church Joyland together with my husband as lead pastors there. I'm also a businesswoman. I do business, different types of them. And I'm happy to be here at Naomi Talk.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so very much, Liz, for inviting us here. My name's Pastor John Ireri Kemani, and I'm glad to be here. I pastor Deliverance Church Joyland along the Eastern Bypass, a place called Corner, like 1 kilometer inside, or maybe less than a kilometer inside from the main bypass. Actually, Liz is our neighbor, and we really thank God for that. Thank you so very much for having us here.
Yes.
I'm hoping to be blessed.
Amen.
And as we converse
Yes.
this interview.
So ishi vizuri na majirani ili mkipatana pahali wasianze kuuliza hata huyo. So live well with your neighbor. So karibuni sana.
Thank you.
We are talking about, we want to hear your journey, 10 years, how it has been like.
Yes.
And tuanze na, uliona huyu mwanadada wapi?
Wow.
Ulimspot wapi?
Huyu mwanadada, there is a long story, eh? Of course, when you are out of college, you begin trusting God for marriage and looking around to see who you can be able to get. So it happened that after college, I came to Deliverance Church Umoja. I was there. My dad connected me, introduced me to Bishop Masinde. He received me into Umoja, of course, with an intention of trying to see how can I be able to get into the ministry. So in Deliverance Church Umoja, there is a mission. There is a program called Operation Rudi Nyumbani. And in that program, people go to various places to do the work of the ministry, winning souls, evangelizing, praying for people, counseling, medical camps, and those kind of things. So before you go for the mission, you have to get into the training. So I enrolled, and then we went for a training. So when we went for a training, that is where I was seated. My wife now, although she wasn't my wife that particular time, she was just seated across next to me. And so the trainer asked us to talk to the neighbors, greet one another. And so she greeted me first, isn't it? You greeted me first, eh? She greeted me first. Then I asked her, she greeted me, habari yako? And then I said, niko poa. And then I asked her, na yako uko aje? Akasema mimi niko poa. So from that time, I think there was a click that took place after those greetings, but it was not very clear. But from that time now we became somehow friends, because now we have to go for the missions. Actually, we were going to Kaimosi. So we went being friends. I mean, we went like tukitengeneza urafiki, tukaenda, tukahubiri, tukarudi. And so we became friends. Yeye bado alikuwa anashiriki the Deliverance Church Umoja. So anytime there is a mission, we went together. Wakati wa ibada bado tunaenda, na wakati kuna youth meetings we could attend together na mambo kama hayo. And then that's how I met her first.
So it is very important,
Yes.
our dear viewer.
Yes.
Pastor akisema talk to your neighbor.
Yes.
Talk to your neighbor for sure.
Eh?
Talk to them.
Your potential
Yes.
might be next to you. Wengine wanakaukanga, mtu anaangalia tu kule mbele. As many times as you're told, turn to your neighbor, please do.
Yeah.
You never know from what you're hearing here. Kuna venye unaweza pinduka upate muujiza, ndio hii hapa imeketi karibu na mimi.
Kabisa.
Hallelujah. So for you, Catherine, is that the first time you felt jamaa juendi ulisalimiana kwanza?
Yeah.
Ulipinduka hivi ukasema my miracle is here. Ama it was just a normal greeting?
Actually, for me, what caught my attention is how he responded to my greetings, because I had not had somebody respond like that before.
Kusema poa.
Okay, habari yako? Akasema mzuri, na yako? Like, he is not just conserving his greetings to himself, but he also wants to know how about you.
Yeah.
So that one really caught my attention. I wondered, how is this man responding to me? And coincidentally from there, when we were in that training, even when we went to the missions, we just found ourselves together. Just coincidentally, I don't know how, but we were a very big team. But tukienda kukula chakula, tukienda kwa crusade, we just found ourselves together. And so this one,
na Zoom.
I'm not so sure whether he was zooming, but I thought it was a coincidence. Actually, I remember there was even some time alikuwa ananiuliza, kwani unanifuata ama ni nini? But honestly, si ati nilikuwa namfuata, but it was just a coincidence. And from there, our hearts clicked and we became very good friends. And from there, we started our friendship journey. Yes.
So ikafika mahali, in your heart, you're settled.
Now, when we began our friendship, of course, now we are going to church together. I have a friend, she could call, I could call. But we really didn't know we are supposed to be, you see, partners in marriage. To marry one. We are supposed to marry. Because this is just a normal friendship that we had. So what we did is that as we continued, we began like sharing our personal lives, challenges, the dreams that you have. And so we became prayer partners.
So hapo ni ukimnunulia kahawa ama tuko simu?
Sometimes over the phone, sana si kahawa, because you see, we are not yet to the aspect of courting. We are just friends. So sometimes we could call, she could call me, we could meet in church, talk about our dreams, talk about our experiences. And then we could pray. So we became prayer partners just like that. So one of the prayer point was my future partner. As we continued,
Goja. So let's put it this way. So on
Yes.
that phone call, hey,
Yes.
hi, how's your day been? So we have these prayer items. I'm trusting God for a prayer partner.
Not
That's how it used to
necessarily, not
go.
necessarily over the phone about the issue to do with the prayer partner. I mean, about future marriage. Mostly when we meet, you see, when you meet, you discuss a lot.
Yes.
You discuss a lot where you are coming from. You discuss about your brothers, your sisters, your parents. You discuss many things. And also you discuss about your dreams.
Yes.
Where would you want to be? What do you want to do in life? You see. So when we are discussing those things, now we decided, can we be praying for these dreams? She has her dreams, I had my dreams. My dreams, so of course, was to be in the ministry and all those kind of things. Because the journey of ministry is not very, very clear. It has a lot of darkness in it. And so, because of that, it brings a lot of anxiety in somebody's life. You don't know how, you don't know where, all those kind of things. So when you get someone who you can be able to share with, somebody who can be able to pray with you, you of course pray. And as you do that, of course, there are things to do with the marriage. There are things to do with, you see, a future partner. So we could share and say, I'm also, by the way, having the desire to get married. You can also pray for me. She also said that also pray for. So we began like that.
You know, I'm thinking out very loud.
Yes, yes.
Suppose you sent that prayer request of a marriage partner and God directed it elsewhere. Anyway, we look at it another day differently. So after how long now did you decide, let me progress? Nani? Work a fence.
We progress now into courtship. Maybe she can answer that well.
Maybe actually for me, when we met, as he said, he didn't used to tell me I really need a prayer partner. This was his main prayer item. But I remember anytime, because for me, God had helped me very young, when I was still very young, because I was coming from a family that was not complete. My mom was single, and I never wanted to be single. So I started praying for my marriage when I was still in high school.
I like that.
Yes, that is when
like
I started. And by the grace of God, I was able to receive Christ when I was in class 8. So I had an intense relationship with God, even in my teenagehood. So when I was in high school, I was trusting God. God, I want you to please prepare the person who will marry me. I don't want to be a single mother. That is one thing I never wanted, because I never enjoyed being raised by a single mom, and by the fact that there was no that father figure. And so when he was telling me about praying for the marriage partner, deep within my heart, I was feeling, but I feel like this is the man who is supposed to marry me. I never told him, but inside of me, I could feel the conviction. This is the man that is supposed to marry me. Nevertheless, I was surrendering everything to the will of God and telling God, Lord, let your will prevail. If it is the man that if he is the man to marry me, then make it work out for us, make it happen for us. If he is not the one, then give him the right partner for him. Yeah, so and I think with the time we just clicked, and he told me, I remember the first time he told me about now we need to get to a relationship. He told me, but I'm feeling like I love you. I can feel like I love you. And I would want us to have a relationship together. So that is when now again we started a different journey of relationship. And then of course we were looking forward to marriage, and we started courtship almost immediately. Yeah.
So that's the proposal.
Yes.
Hiyo. Siku hizi ni big deal. Hebu tusikie ilienda aje.
Wow, that's great. Ours was not a very big thing actually, but we did it. We did it. Where did you did it? Did we do it, by the way? But I remember I bought a ring,
Just a ring.
and I engaged her. From that time now we began to have a serious kind of a relationship.
So wewe ukucheza ile game ya ngoja kwanza niende 21 days. Of
Not
dream.
really.
Not really. As much as we said we need to pray about it. When he told me that I feel I love you and I want us to engage in a relationship leading to marriage, we agreed we need to pray about it.
Yes,
And
yes.
actually we prayed.
We prayed,
We
actually.
gave ourselves some times to pray, and we seriously now prayed about it. And I think after some time, everybody was feeling comfortable and convinced in their hearts that we are meant for marriage.
And
Yes.
actually, before even we agreed that we are going to court, because you remember I told you that we shared our dreams. I had told her, me, I have a call of God in my life. And I am looking forward to somebody who actually will support what I am about to do. Because I never wanted to get into marriage with someone who is not comfortable with the calling of God. Because I knew that your life partner is very, very important. And so even as I was looking at it, and even as I was telling her that, please pray for me, it was a very major prayer item for me. Because I really wanted somebody who will support, who will stand with me, who understands the ministry, and all those kind of things. Because I know that when you have somebody who does not stand with you in the ministry, ministry is not a walk on the path. It is a tough journey. So if you have somebody who doesn't stand with you, then it is very hard for you to penetrate. So we were praying seriously. It was not like kujifanya. It was a serious prayer. She could pray. And even I didn't think like, because we are exchanging prayer items, I'll get to marry her. Because I was seeing some challenges, because she was in school, she was in college. You see? So I was seeing she has to complete college. Then we begin planning about marriage and all those kind of things. So it was not like I am telling her, nikiwa na ujanja. I was very genuine. Please pray for me for a life partner. It was just as genuine as that.
So whether it was, if God was to give you her or somebody else, you
yeah,
are
if
very
God
open.
was to give me somebody else, it was genuine. If it is her, it was very genuine. And actually, I was seeing it very hard to get her as my partner, because nilikuwa naona kitambo amaliza shule, kitambo tupange.
And he was in so much hurry.
I wanted to marry as in immediately.
Almost immediately. Yeah.
So it was very genuine actually. It was like not kujifanya ati ninamwambia hivyo kwa sababu nimeshamnoki nataka. When now we were sure it is the will of God. That's now when I proposed to her. And nikamwambia kwamba now I feel this is the will of God for us to become future partners. Then let's go ahead and court. And nikamwambia, however, if you feel also that you are not comfortable, we gave each other the room to say no. Because I told her, me, I will be a pastor. If you are not comfortable, please tell me.
Yeah. Mapema.
So that mapema, because nimwambia sitaki tuingia katika marriage then nianze kuniambia kwamba mimi sikutaka kuolewa na pastor. You see, so I gave her that room and that freedom. But she went ahead and said, I am ready to get married to a pastor. And so from there nikajua sasa huyu ni sawa, tumeshakubaliana ni sawa, tuendelee. So I engaged her, and then she had also confirmations. There's a time she had a big dream. Remember that dream that you had? You told me about. You had told me that because you see, our that time we were not doing very well. I was not doing also very well in terms of finances and all those kind of things. And I was also feeling like, now if I get married to this lady, how are we also going to live? So I had sometimes doubts, some discouragement, and all those kind of things. But she was very confident that let us move on. Let's move on.
I salute you, mami, because siku hizi wasichana wanauliza wale tinatoshanaje?
Yeah.
Kabla niseme yes.
Yeah.
Kama inakaa iko chini.
Actually, one thing I can commend my wife, she never looked at the issue of money as a big issue. Because if she looked at the issue of money as a big issue, by that time we wouldn't have married.
And I will also say, if at that moment our relationship, if we could have looked at physically or maybe look at the current situation then, it could have been so impossible.
Yeah.
But I thank God, because I told you there that I really desired to surrender to the will of
Yeah.
God. So, and I was very much ready to walk in the spirit, not by sight, to walk in the spirit and by faith.
Yeah.
And I remember God really confirming it in my heart. Of course, I had some challenges. Now, this man is saying he's a pastor. I can see his situation is so bad right now. What will happen now to us? Right now, I'm still a student. I've not yet graduated. I have not gotten a job yet. Now, what will happen to us? But I remember there was a time that God really spoke to me very clearly. Very clearly, that and I saw that he will become a very great man of God. And so I was drawing my confidence there. And for him, maybe he had still so many doubts. What will happen to us? I don't think we are in the right path. But for me, I was very sure that things will work out for him, things will work out for me, and our marriage will be okay. Yes.
Wow.
Actually, she had a lot of confidence. I was wondering, why is this lady having a lot of confidence with me?
That's
Yet
what,
what
Yet
where
what
you
I
are,
see,
that's
where
what
you
you
are
call
that
faith.
moment.
the real life, the life is so hard for us. She's a student. Nimemaliza college. I don't have sina clear direction ya huduma. Si pesa pia hauna pesa nyingi, ni kidogo. So I was really wondering, why is this lady having a lot of confidence?
I am very sure there are qualities you saw that made you to build that confidence.
Very true.
Which ones are those?
First and the foremost is I really wanted to get married to somebody who loves God and somebody who will give me an opportunity to serve God. I don't know whether I was blind in a way, but really, that is what I really first wanted. I really wanted somebody who would help me draw near to God. I had that very burning zeal for God. And so when I met him and I could see how he is dedicated, how he was telling me the stories about how he desires to do the work of the ministry, and in my heart I was convinced this person is very honest. First of all, one thing about him, he was a very honest person
A third
from
quality.
the beginning.
Unasikia quality already tushaya
Yes,
hesabu
yes,
tatu.
yes. Yeah, that was another quality. He was very honest. When we met, he told me, by the way, let me tell you the truth. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I don't have this, I don't have this, I
Wow.
don't have this, I don't have this. Actually, currently,
Unakaa wapi?
currently where I am. Even if I was to marry you today, I don't know what will happen. And I liked that. I really liked that because I felt like somebody who is being honest and is telling me the truth about himself is somebody that you can trust.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that is one thing. That is also another thing that I loved about him. And he was also that man who was very friendly. I would say that he was very friendly to me, and anytime that we would meet, I could see also the commitment in him. He was somebody who was serious, somebody who was friendly, somebody who you could see that this person has a greater destiny. Despite the current situation, he has a vision. He has a dream. He was even telling me, this is what I really want to become. This is what I want to be in the future. As much as I really never understood so much, but I could see this somebody who is going somewhere. So that one I really loved about him. And I knew it's just a matter of time. And when opportunities will open up, he is going to be a great man. Yes.
You see how women see?
Yeah, imagine, I'm wondering
Women
how she could
see
see far.
beyond
Yes.
the dust that is there right now. They're able to see, anaona hii ikipanguzwa vizuri, ipigwe
Pasi kidogo.
pasi kidogo, itanyoroka.
Itakuwa sawa.
So, and I think I love the fact that in all this, God was in the equation and confirming those things.
Yeah.
And the confidence was coming from the fact that yes, I have trusted God from high school as you're saying, and here is a person ukimwangalia sahi unaweza mdismiss, and I thank God that you never dismissed him,
Yeah,
but
sure.
you listened to the things that God was confirming in your spirit, because those qualities God was telling you, check this, and you could confirm,
Yes,
this
yes.
guy is honest, this guy hajanipeleka Java na pesa ya mkopo na fake all those things.
Yes, yes.
So even to any girl who is wondering jamaa sahi vile namuona, please, first and foremost, look beyond.
Yeah.
If that guy sounds like he has the vision of where he wants to go, hapo pia tuseme don't marry a visionless man. He is going somewhere. You can hear the vision. Support that person. Walk with them. If that is where the Lord has given you grace for.
True.
Grace for.
Yeah.
Sawa sawa.
Actually, I can say that at least there is a similarity, because me too, I began to pray for my life partner when I was in high school. So after high school, I continued. When I was in college, I was still praying. And it's about 10 years, about 8 years, yes, about 8 years. Before now we met with her. So I prayed for a period of around 8 years for a life partner. Wow. You can see.
Sasa mami, huku umemaliza college.
Yeah.
Umeenda ukaambia mzazi kuna venye. How was it?
Then I was living with my brother. I have only one brother. And he was the one actually facilitating my school fees and everything that I really needed at that time. And of course, I had introduced him I had introduced my husband, my fiancé then, to my brother. And one question he asked, of course, like any other caring brother, how much does he earn? Or what does he do? He is a pastor. How much does he earn? So this was a very it was a very difficult question, because I think then I couldn't mention that salary. If I did, that relationship was dead.
You are wise. You are wise.
Maybe I lied. In a way, I lied, but I later asked for God's forgiveness.
Yes.
Because the salary that he was receiving, honestly,
Jesus.
even for him, he couldn't sustain himself. So I couldn't reveal it to my brother.
Yes.
My mom was far, and I never even told her at first. I just told her when we were now preparing for the dowry and all that. But for my brother, I had to really lie to him. This man is earning this much, but for me, I knew that was the double of what he was really earning, the actual amount.
So, Paul, bro.
Yeah, so he had some doubts in a way. He really was not so sure.
He was not very comfortable.
He was really not very comfortable then.
When we were visiting.
Yeah, then again, he also really was advising me, why don't you first of all complete the college, then again after that you can have your own job, have some time to enjoy your income. Why are you so much in a hurry? But for me, in my heart, actually, when I was still very young, I had made a covenant and I had prayed to God. I want to get married at 24 years. 24 exactly, that is when I want to get married. So when we were meeting with him, I would think I was around 22 years. So I got married at 24 years.
Wow.
So that is why...
Again, God answered your prayer.
God answered my prayer. God answers prayers. I tell you the truth. God answers prayers. So for him, he was not very comfortable, but I knew what I wanted. And I didn't want to settle down when I was still young, because I also had my plans. Though maybe our plans really don't go as according to maybe how God plans. But I had planned I want to get married at 24 years. At that year, I'm done giving children. And that from there now I can concentrate building my career or doing business or whatever I want to do.
Namadhe, when it go through her?
Now, my mom was positive. She was receptive, actually. She's one person who respects somebody's decisions. At first, when we went for the introduction now, because we went just for the official introduction, bearing in mind our home is far and for us we are here in Nairobi, so I went to that official introduction, and when we went there, she didn't have much, only that she asked, are you not doing things very fast? And I told her, I'm ready for marriage and I'm okay at this time and at this age. The reason why I had chosen number 24 of marriage is because my mom gave birth at 24 years, the first child. So I really, that is what I really wanted. I wanted to get married at that same age.
Wow.
So I told her, you see, that is what I have really desired, and so I'm okay. Then she said, if you are okay, then
Who am
I'm
I?
okay also. Then
Yeah.
it's okay.
I can't prevent. If you're fine, my
Yeah.
daughter, you have my blessings
Yeah.
and all that. And I like the fact that you went even to let her know, put her in the picture,
Yeah.
and quote unquote seek her blessings.
Yes, yes.
Because again, there are people who opt to let the parents know about it when it is already almost fermented, ile ya ni either ukuje ama ukose kukuja, life bado itaendelea and all that. But the fact that you are able to even respect her to the point of letting her know where you are, what you're doing, that is something that is really to be commended.
Yeah, sure.
And we challenge anyone walking this journey, don't despise your parents.
Sure.
And hata kama wako ushago wapi, let them be in the picture, give them the joy of being part of your life that you're getting into.
Yes, yes.
Their blessings also matter.
Yes,
And that is also very important.
True.
So mama hajakataa, and now we are progressing. So how long did it take now before you walk down the aisles? After mumepelekana nyumbani?
After now, the first introduction, I think we did it, we did our dowry in November. The introduction, we did it, I think, was it 2 months earlier?
2 months earlier.
Yeah, so maybe a journey of like 6 months, because we married in May 3rd. Yeah.
Hivi, mulikuwa mnapeleka na?
Yeah, but we had quoted for
We
3
had
years.
quoted for long. Yeah.
Yes.
Now I'm talking about the official,
Yes.
the official introduction. So between then and the wedding date, it was around 6 months. But previously we had quoted for more than 2 years.
I'm
We
also
were
looking
friends.
at the financial implication of ikiwa imekaribiana sana. Haikuhemesha?
Actually, we can say that God was faithful.
Yeah.
We didn't have problems with finances when we were getting married.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember when we began to plan our wedding, the savings that we had, we gave all of it as a seed. Because personally, I believe so much in sowing and reaping. And because I counted it as, now the money and the support that we may receive will be a harvest. There is no way we can begin planning our wedding if there is no seed on the ground. And I remember us coming to Bishop JB and telling him what we are planning to do, and we gave him that sacrifice. And there was a scripture that we were standing in, that when Moses was trying to build the temple, when people gave money more than enough. And so that the scripture that we were standing with, and that is scripture that even Bishop prayed for us with, that we shall have more than enough because of that, you see, aspect of honoring and kind of it. And I tell you the truth, we had enough money
More
for
than
the
enough.
wedding,
Yeah.
we had enough money for the honeymoon, and
And
we
we
had
had some
enough
balance.
money to come begin life.
Yes.
Wow. Pesa tulikuwa na pesa ya harusi, na harusi yetu ilikuwa kubwa sana. By the way, it was we did our wedding in Utawala Deliverance Church because after some time, because of, now you remember I told you that I came to Bishop because of the ministry issues. So Bishop alisema kwamba John, huwezi kaa hapa kwa sababu ukikaa hapa, hii ni church kubwa sana. Huwezi learn ministry and you need to be in a place whereby you see the church is growing. So there is one of the branch churches of Umoja is Utawala Deliverance Church, where Reverend Kokonyo and Mom Lucy they serve. So Bishop took me there after talking with Reverend Kokonyo and Lucy, and then they agreed kwamba mimi nienda nikae pale niweze kulearn ministry, and then finally tutaweza kufanya nini kujua vile kutakuwa. Actually he did not really make it very clear. Bishop alisema kwamba John ukae huko mpaka wakati mimi nitasema. So mimi nikasema wacha ni sawa tu, wacha nikae, because this is the man I came to, and you see God had spoken to me actually before coming to him, because I was also praying. Before coming to Bishop, God had spoken to me na akanionyesha in a vision kwamba this is the man that will usher us into our destiny. So when he said that, I didn't have many questions, because remember God had spoken to me. So when we went to Utawala, I went to Utawala, I left at Umoja. So later we did our wedding 2014 in Deliverance Church Utawala. So that's where in that time now God provided all that we had we needed for the wedding, for the honeymoon, and even after the honeymoon we had also money that was left.
Yes.
You know, you're the second couple that has said they had even money left
Yes.
after the honeymoon.
Yeah.
Because the other couple said they actually had enough money after the honeymoon. They came straight, and the following day after unpacking, they went to look for a plot because they had quite
Enough.
some good enough money that was left. Yeah?
It is the power of the blessing, actually. I can say it was the power of because that money, it's not because we had saved.
We didn't have anything actually.
The money that we had, we sold.
Yeah,
So we were at zero.
We were at zero.
You remember?
Yes.
Pure
You see,
faith.
Yeah,
this is
pure
our faith.
yes.
The faith and the prayer of, you see,
Yeah.
Of the servant of
our servant
God, yeah.
No, the Father's blessing, you see. It really works. Yes.
Yeah? Haya, sawa. So harusi ndio hiyo, ni kubwa, mumebakisha. And of course, after people get married, I think the next thing inakuanga ni the Lord, may you bless us with children.
Yeah.
And we are grateful that he blessed the two of you with children.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, that comes with its own different outlook and changes.
Yes, yes.
So what are some of the things that drastically changed when the children started coming?
Wow. It's an interesting
Now
question.
that this is an introduction of a new small, a small human being
Yes.
in our relationship, and for us, we never took time after we got married. Actually, I remember we got married in May, and I conceived in July.
Hey?
So it was that fast.
Actually, when we were doing the counseling,
Congrats.
Reverend Kokonyo is the one who did counseling to us. And he had advised us
Not to use family
not to
planning.
use family planning
Yeah.
because he had given us experiences that he had seen some people after getting married and they began to use those contraceptives and all those kind of things, family planning things, that now when they wanted to get children, it was difficult. So he had advised us, if we get married, see we have gotten married, see we still need children, he advised us not to use any of those. So see tukaenda tukiendanga kujienjoy. And here comes the baby.
So the baby
Next
comes.
month.
Yeah, so maybe because of now the introduction of a foreign human being in the body, of course you understand
Yes.
there are some changes. Even to you, they are strange. To him, could be they were also strange.
They are very strange because
Yeah, and maybe they brought us into some misunderstanding. I never knew
Because
you were
2
like
months,
this. Yes.
hata hujamjua.
Hata
we are not
hajanijua.
we are not knowing one another.
Yeah,
Very
let's say
well.
you're still even in
marriage.
courtship of some kind.
Yes, yes.
Because bado kuna ile, okay, honeymoon phase is
Yeah,
still
yeah,
there.
that's right.
Yeah, sure. Though we thank God because at least we had a relationship of around 3 years. So though as much as it is not the same
Yes.
when you are in marriage, but it helped us in a way.
Yeah.
So of course it was not easy. Yeah, it was not easy at all. But by the grace of God, we were able to manage, and we gave birth to our first daughter, with Jazrin Wakeo, and God blessed us with a very beautiful girl, and we really loved the fact that God has given us a child.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this baby is here in the house.
Yes.
You as a mother, what was your first time experience as a mother? That ile unakumbuka. Of course there are many, but kuna ile mtu kumbuka anasema, enyewe nilikuwa green kwa hii assignment.
Wow. Mine was a story because first of all, I gave her through CS.
Yes.
Then something happened when we just, I had something called post-preeclampsia. It's a condition. So preeclampsia is when you get blood pressure and things are not working for you when you are pregnant. But now there's this one that develops immediately after delivery.
Yes.
Now this is what happened. When I delivered, I got my blood pressures shooted. So I had to remain in the hospital for 1 more week. It was not easy for me. I am a first-time mother. I'm even confused. I thought I was just supposed to be here for 2 days or 1 day.
Because sometimes it's what you hear with other women out here.
Yes. And of course, I can see others are being discharged, but the doctors are
goodness.
saying for you, you cannot go anywhere yet. You have to take some time first. So at least after 1 week, I was given some medication and I went home. Now when I landed home, I think just after 1 week, a friend of ours came. Actually, it was his friend. She was not my friend, his friend, who came, and she was a medic. And looking at our child, she asked us, "What is the problem with this child?" Then we wondered, what is the problem? My God, we can't see any problem. And she said, "I can see this baby is very yellow. She has a condition called jaundice." Oh my God.
You have no idea what jaundice
What is that?
Jaundice, it was a jargon to us.
We really got scared. We really got scared, so very much scared. And so she said, "This is a very serious condition, so you have to go back to hospital." So the following day we were back to hospital, and when we went to the hospital in Kenyatta, I was told I have to be admitted with a baby because there's that process they take them through so that jaundice can be healed or can clear. So that was very difficult because in Kenyatta Hospital then, I don't know right now how the situation is, the bed is for the child, you are the mother, now you don't have a bed. Remember, I have a CS.
Yeah, you have a scar that is not yet healed.
Yes, I have a scar, a very bad one at that time, actually just after 1 week. And what we used to do, it's you put your child there and then you sit. You sit for all the hours. You have to sit down. Ukibahatika sana, kuna kamati kalikuwa kanarushwa chini ya kitanda fulani hapo. Unatolewa kama for 1 hour, like the ladies in that hospital, mnaambiana in that ward, 1 hour. After that, unaamshwa, "We, madam, time yako imeisha. Just wake up. Somebody else is supposed to taking the turn." So that one was very difficult for me. Then, at the same time, you know, being the first mother, the nipples were sunken, and they have to be pulled out by these little ones. My God, I have never had such a pain because now I got very bad cracks on my nipples.
I can imagine.
It was very bad. No, I don't know whether you can imagine it even in a good way because it was so bad to the extent that I was even getting some passes. It was painful. It was very, very painful. I had the pain on the nipples, and when I remember when I told one of the nurses I have some problems with my nipples, and they looked at it. They were shocked because it was very, very bad. Then mimi ndio niko hapa tena niko na wound ya CS. It was hard. Then I was wondering,
mothers.
And you remember now, having a sick baby, it was a very big mountain. Yeah. I was so worried. I think, I don't know, but recently I was just wondering, why did I have to go all through this? Because that is just a very small part of it in my parenting journey.
Like a drop.
it's just a drop in the ocean in my parenting journey, but I realized God was confronting my fears. Because that one, I faced the fears, I got fearful, I got the pain. So that was one experience that was so bad to us, and it was very challenging on our side. So coming back home, then again, now you are taking
she
care
stayed
of
there
her.
for 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I stayed in the hospital
For 2
for
weeks,
around
and then they
2
were
weeks.
discharged.
Now with my wound, and but by the grace of God, I survived.
By the way,
And I gave birth
ni
to
kwa
others.
neema. You know, it's interesting that
Yeah.
women sometimes go through a very rough experience, but
Yes.
the minute the desire for another baby kicks in, all your pains in the past,
forget.
Yes.
you forget.
You forget. And I tell you, if you don't get that next child,
Yes.
you are the most desperate person
Imagine
on earth.
when that desire kicks in.
Yes. Ay, my
The
friend.
pain of the past is
It's forgot. You
forgotten.
don't even care about
Kabisa.
it. You don't even care about it, actually. You really want a child like, it's, I don't know, sijui ni nini yo, but because I've ever found myself there, you want a child and you are not able to get.
Yeah.
So that desperation is so bad. It's so bad. So now back to our firstborn. When we get back home, of course, my leave was just 2.5 months. I think nilikuwa nimekula 2 weeks. And I was employed by an individual. So, of course, it is 3 months. Or kama ulikuwa umekula wiki zako kidogo, then you are done. 2.5, you are supposed to be back. So this one was also very difficult for me, that I had to go back now to work. And I have to leave a 3-month-old baby in the hands of another person. Now that's a house girl. And I remember I used to go to work in town, Kijabe Street, and I was supposed to be in the office by 7:30.
Oh dear.
Yes, meaning I have to leave home at 5:30 because we used to live in Utawala. The traffic jam was hectic. It was bad. So you had to leave so early in the morning. And I remember there was a time I used to wake up and I'm heading out of the house and I was crying, literally crying.
I know.
Because I know this baby I have left, I'm going to see her again at 8:30 in the evening. It was hard. It was very difficult, actually. I was feeling guilt. I was feeling desperate. I was feeling anything bad because I was even imagining maybe I have just gotten a house girl. Yeah. Ama mwingine amekwambia hiyo asubuhi nataka kwenda.
That's another face altogether, by the way.
And you have to go to work, so you have to leave your baby in the hands of somebody you don't even know. It was very tough for me. It was very tough, and it made me feel like I don't want employment anymore. Yes.
It was not only
Umesikia kuna changamoto hapo ndani? Ziko.
It was not only tough on her because now when she goes to work, you see me, I'm a pastor in Utawala. And I'm not very busy because I'm not a senior pastor.
Yeah.
So most of the times, either I'm in church or at home. So when the girls left, guess who?
He was the one.
When they unceremoniously decided.
Yes, he was the one to take charge.
I'm the one to take charge.
Yeah.
My friend, change diapers, wash the baby,
Congratulations.
feed the baby.
And actually, if there's something that
Yeah,
made...
even sometimes cook.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
sometimes I could even cook for her.
Yes.
Because now she will come at home by 8. So sometimes I could cook even supper. So the only thing I couldn't do is to wash utensils. So you know because I hate that issue of washing utensils.
Intensive.
But imagine I could wash clothes. Actually, when she came out of the hospital, we didn't have a house girl for 3 months. I was the one fualing. I was the one sometimes cooking. You know, mpaka mimi ndiye nimbo hiyo heri ya huyu. Unajua kwa hiyo heri ya mimi ndiye.
That one, it's Hebrew. You can Google.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Imagine, I could cook soup, I could cook tea, I could cook uji, everything.
Yeah, by the way, that was something I really I really commend my husband in that phase of our life when we got that first baby. You remember I had a CS, so and I couldn't really restrain myself, and we didn't have a house girl. First of all, remember our finances are not so good. Then again, I was on leave at that particular time, so we thought we don't need a house girl right now. Maybe we can employ when I'm going back to work. I tell you the truth, Liz, my husband did literally everything for me. Do you know nilikaa 2 months kama sijaingia kitchen? Yes, 2 months. I never got into the kitchen. And he really used to do it without complaining. He could wash the clothes. He could cook for us. He could make sure that everything totally is good.
Wash the house.
Yeah, wash the house. Literally everything. He could do that. And we thank God, because at that time he had that time. He had that opportunity because he was not so much engaged. But he really
understood also.
Yes. And he gave himself, he gave it all to me, and that is something I can really thank God because of him. And now when the house girls are away and they have gone in the morning, so he has
anaamka asubuhi anakusikiza umeoga, umemaliza. Anakwambia hata mimi nilikuwa nataka kutoka.
Si ndio hiyo sasa. So he never complained. He never complained. One thing I love about my husband, he really loves his children. Yani anawapenda mpaka ile namwambia, my friend, I came first before them. So for the children, he can do anything. So, and he was willing to change the diapers, to feed them. And I actually, ni vile tu ni odd na ni awkward, but I was happier when the babies were with the father. I felt safe, and I knew that my child is okay.
Yeah, than
when with the house girls.
I know.
Yes.
And especially when they are younger, they are not able to speak and say what has happened.
Yeah.
But then that one also helped us, because even when the house girls were there, sometimes I could just come in and check how the baby is doing, and then I go. Such kind of things. I could not like stay the whole day before coming home, because now she is all the way to town. But me, I'm just within Ottawa. So I could sometimes leave the office, come and see how the baby is doing, or maybe there are some ministries we were doing. I could, after finishing the ministry, I come home, check the way the babies are doing. The baby is doing actually that particular.
We had one at that time. Yes.
But of course, as they added, as God added into their numbers, there was grace also extended in similar measures.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So at this point, kuna mahali ulifika ukaamua kuacha job?
Sikuamua.
It's not even deciding to leave the job. It is like God now calling her in a different line altogether.
I remember we were opening DC Joyland on 11th of December. Oh, sorry, of September.
2016.
2016. I was terminated, I think, on 9th of September. It was not really like a termination, but the conditions that the boss arose with, I felt I couldn't, they would not work for me, because he started saying that you'll be coming to work even on Sundays. Sometimes you'll be here even up to 8 in the evening.
And you're a mother.
And I'm a mother. Then again, there's also a responsibility of the ministry that is coming on me. And in my heart, I felt I will not be able to do this. And so, and he gave us an option. You either agree to it or you resign. And so for me, I opted to resign. And I resigned.
Tough choice.
Yeah, it was tough, but with no regrets. With no regrets, because I also felt that it was God who had purposed it that way. Otherwise, if we started the ministry at that particular time with these conditions, it would have been so difficult for me. And you remember, the young ministry or a young church, it has a lot of demands on the two of you.
Actually.
Actually, you do everything. You wash the toilets.
Kupanga
you,
viti.
you wash,
You wipe
you wash
Unapanguza
the
viti.
church.
You are in the kitchen sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you are the
Sunday
one.
school.
Sunday school, ladies,
Like
praise and
now,
worship,
she
everything.
was in charge of praise and worship. She was after
A
praise
Sunday
and
school
worship.
teacher.
She's the one to handle the children. After that, lazima tufike mapema. You see, kupanguza viti, kupanga
Set up.
viti, all those kind of
All these things.
choo lazima zioshwe.
Mtoto bado ni mdogo.
Na mtoto bado tuko na yeye.
She was
Na
just
tunaishi
1.5
wapi? Tunaishi
years.
Utawala. Na unajua Joel mahali ipo.
Yeah, so it was a distance.
So distance.
It was a distance.
It was a very huge sacrifice on us.
But amazingly, God was providing. We never struggled or felt like, why did you? I think I wish I never, we never struggled as a family. Maybe on a personal level, because sasa kuna ile pesa yangu mwenyewe sipati tena.
Yeah.
Lakini at least on a family level, we were not struggling. God really provided. God really provided for us.
Actually, I remember at least to maybe to end on that, which my wife is saying. You see the importance of the blessing.
Yeah.
It is very, very important. Now, when our baby was 3 months, she was dedicated. And I remember, actually, it's Bishop who came to Tahala again. And then Pastor Kukonyo requested him to dedicate our baby. And so when he was praying, he prayed something. He said that God, may you provide for Catherine and John and for their baby. And I'm telling you, the provision was so huge.
Yes,
For
yes.
1 full year,
Yes.
we never bought
We never
anything.
shopped.
We never shopped. Even a kiberiti, we never shopped anything.
People were
Actually,
coming
people
to
were
us.
coming one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Actually, vitu walileta zikatosha kitchen,
Tukaweka
tukahamisha
bedroom.
zingine bedroom. Tukaona sasa hizi zimekuwa
As
nyingi.
zimekuwa excess.
We began now to
giving
give
out. Yes.
to others who are needy.
Wow.
That's how the provision, clothing,
We were
talk
in
of clothes,
abundance.
talk of food, everything. There was nothing that we were lacking, actually.
Wow.
That particular
Okay.
The power
This
of
is
blessing.
I agree. I agree. Mtu asifiche vitu, anafanya vitu ati una surprise watu.
Hapana.
Walk in the light,
Yes.
do things the right way.
Yes.
And definitely God will release his blessings upon you.
Yes.
So 10 years in marriage, how have you kept your union tight and it going, the two of you? Unajua kuna watu watatu wamekaa hapo katikati na wataondoka at one point when they grow and they have their own homes.
Yeah.
But the two of you need to keep cultivating and nurturing your relationship.
Yes.
So what have you been doing to keep that relationship and the fire going?
Okay, one thing that I really believe in is prayer. I believe so much in prayer. And I also believe so much in sowing. And I also believe so much in communicating. So, prayer. Me and my wife, my wife and I, we really pray for our marriage. Because remember, before we got married, we were praying for future partners. God gave us
Yes.
one. He gave me my wife, and my wife akampatia me as the husband. It was birthed out of prayer. So we continue to pray for our marriage. Every day we have to pray. In our family altar, even in the church where we pastor, when we go to pray, we cannot leave the church without praying for our marriage.
Yeah.
Because marriage is an institution that is very sensitive,
Yeah.
and it has a lot of battles. Because the enemy does not want, especially if you are serving God, he will want to fight your marriage, to discourage you from serving the Lord. So we discovered that one very early, and we really give ourselves time to pray. Praying for one another, praying for the marriage, praying for our children, and praying for anything concerning the family. We do that. And also sometimes we could even, I remember there was a time because in the early stages there are those conflicts sometimes that happen before you gel.
Yeah.
There were those challenges. I remember one time God led us to go into a prayer mountain. And we went and sat down. We evaluated what has been happening to their family. We also evaluated what has been happening into our family, and we came up with issues. This one is an issue in our family, this is an issue in their family, this is an issue. And we began to pray, addressing those issues. We destroyed those which were negative, and we now said to God, we want another new marriage. We prayed, and we gave a sacrifice on that. From that time, it became like a new foundation, whereby the earlier battles is like they were silenced in a way. They were very much silenced. So prayer is one of the things that I can say that it really works for us in marriage. And then there is also the counseling aspect. Remember, Reverend Kokonyo took a lot of time to counsel with us when we were getting married, and even after the marriage when we had issues, because me and my wife, we have a rule. If you feel that nimekulemea sana, me, I have given you permission to go to Reverend Kokonyo or Mom Lucy or Pastor Moses, who is our best couple, and ulistaki huko. Maybe ile kitu unajaribu kuniambia sielewi kwa sababu ya vile labda unaniambia. Maybe wakiniambia nitasikia. So they have really also worked with us in a way. Reverend Kokonyo has worked with us, and Mom Lucy, and even Pastor Reverend Moses, teacher, and Mom Joan. They have worked with us in this journey. So we can say that counseling, we can say that prayer, we can say that counseling and guidance from those who are our fathers in the marriage and also in the ministry. And then the other thing is personal, I can say is personal interest. Kutaka kujua, how does marriage work? So sometimes we can listen to people talking, read books, such kind of things. Personal initiative.
What you're simply saying is you don't stop growing once you walk down the aisles.
No.
You've got to be very intentional to know how you can even grow and become better.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe also something I've seen work for us so well. My husband loves us working together. That one has really helped us to gel, to become one, to think like one, and even to be close. So we have a lot of responsibilities.
Actually, we have this joke. Wewe utakaki kuniacha, unataka kunifuata kila mahali. That's also
hata kuna wakati namwambia unataka kunisuffocate kwa nini? But we really work together. We have a lot of responsibilities on ourselves. Doing business, and of course ministry, very overwhelming. There was a time I had like 3 or 4 businesses running at the same time, and it was very overwhelming. But the good thing is that we work together.
Yes.
We work together very closely. If it is in ministry we are doing it together. By the way, it's very hard for you not to find us together. Everywhere you find us, we are together. Kama ni shopping, we are together. Kama ni kupeleka watoto mahali, we are together. Kama ni shule, right now we have some schooling we are doing. We are together. Hatuachani, kila anaketi hapa na mimi naketi hapa, tuko kwa class, we are learning together. So sometimes even reading the word of God together, we listen. Like now we have audio Bibles, we can listen and everyone is taking notes. We pray together. Kama kuna kitu ambao tunafaa kufanya pamoja, we are supposed to do most of the time. We are together doing it together. So that one, for me, I have found it helping us so much, despite the responsibilities, but it is working for our marriage. So that one has helped us.
Actually, to add on that, maybe I usually feel like I should not be working alone. We should be together. The issue of like my wife is alone there, I'm working alone there. It really becomes a very difficult thing for me, and even for her. She has to pull me along. I have to pull her along, and as a result of that, it has helped us to learn more about one another and to understand more about one another. Then there is also, I think there is a time that God also spoke to me about our calling. You see, it's like how God also wants us to work together. It's like God said that you now he was talking about, God was speaking to me about us now. I've been in the ministry. It's like God was saying, you are Moses, she is Aaron. My wife is a very good communicator. Me, I can dream. I can dream big things and all those kind of things. But remember me, I am a man of few words. I don't speak a lot.
Really?
But yeah, I don't speak a lot.
Like
but
Ireri.
my wife, she has a way. She has a way of bringing in, communicating what probably I want being done, even in church.
She's able to catch the vision
She's
and
able
break
to
it
catch
down
the,
into
yeah, she's able to catch the vision and
workable
communicate
bits.
with the people in a way that they will be able
They
to understand.
understand.
Sometimes I find people misunderstanding when I communicate what I want to do. But when I tell them, it is easy. It is easy. She is able to. But I'm very passionate. I'm more of a pioneer. I will pioneer things. But she is able to understand it and interpret it and communicate.
So you dream the big vision.
Yes.
Then she's able to come and cut it
And
into
cut,
small
yes, actually
pieces
that is it.
everybody can
She is able to explain
catch
small,
and
small
put it
details.
now together.
True.
Kama ile puzzle. Ya 300 pieces. So wewe uko na 300 pieces zote compact. But she can break it into small pieces.
And actually I began to see it kitambo, but she could not see it. Until when I really prayed about it and really, let me say pushing or what can I say?
Pushing,
Can I
that's
really
the
say
word.
pushing?
You've really
Yeah, it's
pushed
the right
me.
one. She has confirmed it.
Yes, I have really pushed her to be in the ministry because she wanted to like
Do my thing.
just do her thing
And
and
he
just
does
be
his
there like
thing.
Mama Kanisa.
To be seen.
Yeah, just to be seen.
And not to be heard.
And not to be heard. But I told her that is not your calling. Actually, I remember there were times we had fights because of that. You see, this is not your calling. Your calling is that you should be serving, actively serving alongside me. Nana. So she is in the praise and worship. She is into the ladies. She is into the trainings. She can preach. This girl is very gifted. She can preach, teach, and with a lot of clarity. Especially when she's talking about the holiness. Hey,
That's my thing.
she can really talk about it. And you will not be offended. Tell me to talk about it. Others will think that
You will offend us.
Pastor anasomea hawa watu.
Ama alituano mahali.
Ama anatuana bahati ya labda tuhubiri. So there is that aspect of working together has really helped us. And I recognize her ministry. She recognizes my ministry.
Yeah.
And we have seen that we both of us need one another. I need her. Where there, I feel this communication, I think for it to be understood well, Catherine come here. So communicate about these things. Communicate about it to the people.
Wow.
So that one has also helped us to be like together.
Yeah, to work together.
Yes, to work
Two
together.
cannot work together unless they
They
are in
agree.
agreement.
Even in such a way that even if I go, if I leave the church in her hands, I am not even worried. Even I put off my phone.
Wow. Everything will be sorted.
Everything will be done
Mommy.
well.
And I remember, he has said that and I've remembered, there was a time that we were supposed to do a couples seminar. He had traveled. And so the agreement was you have to come back on Sunday morning or either on Saturday evening. Do you know, he switched off his phone? He switched... I tried to look for him on Saturday. On Sunday, after the service, then I'm wondering, oh my God, how am I supposed to do a couples seminar and he's not even here? But by the grace of God, I had to. Did I have a choice? I had to.
Rona, he was sure.
I am sure. You see, but because I know she will have some, I cannot do it, what. I said now, Friday evening, my phone.
Kesi baadaye.
Kesi baadaye. And she did it very well.
aliakisha simu. After now, he was very sure the seminar
Everything
is
is
over.
done now.
That is the time.
Nikawasha simu saa
Hey.
10 hapo.
Hiyo ni
Eh,
baptism by fire. Alikulisha
Ay,
deep end.
my friend.
It's
it
either
has-
you learn how to swim
or
or
you
drown.
drown.
Or you drown.
I'm not there.
Honestly, it has not been easy for me on that side because first of all, and I tell him sometimes you are limited. Maybe God could probably has deposited great things in us, but there are so many limitations. And by the fact you are a woman and you are the word pastors' wives, it really limits you in a way.
Actually, mimi namwambiaga Liz, mimi namwambiaga my wife, you are the pastor. Wewe hata wewe ndio unakaaga wewe ni pastor, sio mimi nakaaga pastor. Mimi namwambiaga mimi naangaliaga upasta wangu ni kidogo. Lakini yako ni nyingi. Because me naonaga is like more of me I really pastoral ni kiasi. Lakini kuna zile gift ambazo mimi naonanga Mungu like pioneering things. I will teaching the word of God. Maybe prophetic, hizo vitu kama hizo. Mimi naonanga hiyo ndio mimi Mungu. Lakini pastoral ni kidogo. Yeye ndiye anaonanga akiwa na pastoral nyingi. So namwambia kwamba sasa wewe
Ukubali.
lakini she does not want to believe.
Si rahisi.
What I see, she does
She'll
not.
come
So
around very
by
soon.
fire I baptize her.
Actually,
So what you will do next time, unda mkutano ingine kubwa, potea na uzima.
Ndio. Now she has accepted. Actually the other day she accepted that. Na ni mzuri mke wa mchungaji kukuwa empowered.
Yes.
Now when I heard that
He really
coming
hugged
from
me.
her,
He really hugged me.
I
For 10
even I have
minutes.
a date for her because of that. There's something I'm preparing for, because of her believing that a woman needs to be empowered in the ministry.
Yes.
Because it's like she was doing it kama yuko kama hayuko. Kama lakini wakati nisikia sasa amepata ile kitu nimekuwa nikitaka apate. I was very happy.
Perfect.
I really hugged her, congratulated her, and now you have gotten it.
I am loving this conversation, but our time is far much spent.
Yes.
So we have to close it here, but I've really enjoyed this conversation. I wish we could really stretch it further and further, but we have to close. So before we close, I'm sure 10 years has been a wonderful time.
Yeah.
And this is the part I always love. So we pinduka vizuri, muangalie. Sijui nani ataanza kuambia mwingine maneno mazuri, maneno matamu kabla tumalize.
All right. Okay. Tunapinduka.
Okay. Yes, of course I will begin. And I would really say that first and foremost is to commend my wife, because you have really proved to be a real person to my life. You have really supported me through thin and thick. And you have been there, even in hard moments and even in good moments. I would really say that God, you are an answer to my prayers. And I feel that even from now on, I'm going ahead, I really want to be with you the rest of my life. In such a way that even if I was given an opportunity to get married, I would still get married to you, because your humility, your charisma, or your giftings, your support, the love for my children and for our children, how you love God, how you want to live a holy life. You see, it really makes me feel that you are a real partner in my life. And therefore, I say that I am happy. I appreciate you being in my life. And I really commit to love you more, and even to even help you where you feel, where I see that I need to help you, where you feel I need to help you. I'm there ready to help and to support you to become who God wants you to become. Remember, in this life, we are not in a competition. You have your assignment. I have my assignment. And therefore, I am there to help you do your assignment and accomplish that which God wants you to accomplish in this life. Therefore, I say that I love you so very much. Thank you for being in my life. And I am happy to do life with you. So thank you so very much.
So also for me,
Yes.
I really thank God because of you. And one thing I know that you are an answered prayer in my life.
Yeah.
It could not have been the package I thought, but I know you are the best for me.
Asante.
And given any other opportunity, I will still believe you are the man I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I thank God for you, and I commit every day, and I am praying to God that God will continue helping me to become a better wife to you and a better mother to our children.
Yes.
It's my prayer, and I still commit just from the day of our wedding. I'll support you with all maximum effort that I can have to support you in the ministry and to support you in the business, in your dreams. And I want to believe that you shall become the great man that God told me about from
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
I love you.
Thank you so very much. And I would also want to say thank you so much to our children, that is Jaslyn, Jeremy, and even Hadassah. They have been so good into our lives, being part of us even in our marriage and even being part of us in the family. It's my prayer that our children also will become great.
Amen.
And they shall love and fear the God that they have been serving.
Amen.
All together.
Amen.
And also finally, I would also want to recognize and say thank you so much to Bishop Masinde and Mom for even walking with us in this journey of the ministry and making sure that we are where we are today. The other person I also want to thank so much is our pastor, Reverend Kokonya and Mom Lucy.
Yes.
They have really worked with us. Reverend Moses, Ngetich, and even Mom Joan. We also thank them so very much for holding our hands to be able to, to walk in this journey of marriage, in the journey of the ministry. Actually, we can say that they are good fathers to us.
We are blessed.
And we are blessed
really
to have them
blessed.
in our lives.
Yes.
The other thing is to say thank you so much to my neighbor here in the city and also in the
At
village.
home.
Thank you so very much for having us here.
Yeah.
We are so very much happy. May the Lord bless you so much, Liz, together with your husband, Mr. Nyaga, Mr. Kenywa. Bwana wabariki sana sana. Together with your children, and you are doing a great and a wonderful job.
Amen.
Thank you so very much. Asante.
So thank you for being our guest for today, and I'm sure that our viewers, you've learned something about marriage, and for sure marriages do work, but you've heard it takes two for it to work, and the two have been putting the effort together. So don't try to imagine that you can do it on your own. Have other people around you who you are accountable to. That is also something that we have picked. And even when you get stuck, you can always run to them. They have wisdom they can download to you on how you can do your marriage. So I want to end with this quote about marriage that says, greatest marriages are built on teamwork, mutual respect, a healthy dose of admiration, and a never-ending portion of love and grace. And I'm sure you've picked that from these two, that there's a lot of teamwork that comes into it. There's a lot of respect that comes to it. Admiration, of course, for each other on their strengths that each of them carries, and the love and the grace that has to be extended. Otherwise, God bless you. See you later.